सगळे आमचे CCR TV पळोवण्यारांक माय मोगाचो येवकार. Is politics a noble profession? हें क्वेश्चन चालू आहा CCR TVंत आनी 14 तारखेर फेब्रुवारी हाजो निकाल आमकां मेळोंक शकता. फायनल रिजल्ट 10th मार्च देखून रावचे पडटले, पूण सगळे पार्टी आनी सगळे उमेदवार तयारी करून नेटान तांचे प्रोग्राम चालू आहा. जायते कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सीज आमी गेल्ले आहा, जायते इंटरव्यू आमी केल्ले आहा आनी आयज आमचे बरोबर आसा एक कॅन्डिडेट फ्रॉम नावेली कॉन्स्टिट्युएन्सी. जे आमी इतले कॅन्डिडेट आदले केले ते सगळे पार्टीन आसलेले, सो दे आर पार्टी बेस्ड. पयलेच फावट तुमचे मुखार आमी हाडटा एक इंडिपेंडंट कॅन्डिडेट. हो इंडिपेंडंट कॅन्डिडेट जावन आसा एक टीचर बाय प्रोफेशन, almost 30 years in teaching profession, and his specialization, he is a postgraduate in IT. Technology is what is very, very important as of today. He is the in-charge vice principal of Rosary Higher Secondary School in Navilim, and he was associated as the joint secretary for a movement for special status for Goa. We do not know what is the future as far as the special status for Goa, and we raised this question earlier, but most of them have been saying now it is not the right time to raise the issue of special status. He is the president of the Vocational Teachers Association, and I think our future is on vocational training. Let me welcome the independent candidate from Navilim, Bob Antonio Alvares. My mogacho yokar Bob Antonio.
Thank you very much.
तर पयलेच फावटी आमी इंटरव्यू घेता एक इंडिपेंडंट कॅन्डिडेट. सगळे आदले सगळे आमच्या पार्टीचे नॉमिनी आयिल्ले आसा आनी तूं एक इंडिपेंडंट कॅन्डिडेट. As independent candidate, what do you think are your chances, especially in Navilim?
You see, what has happened is there are, I think, about 6 parties who are contesting the elections, and new parties are coming, and who knows, in the next elections, more parties will come to Goa. But if you actually go to see, I have a rapport with the people. I have established a rapport because of my being an educationist in the same village. And I feel that the response that I'm getting when I go door to door for campaigning is very good.
Actually, everybody says we get good response.
Yes.
That has to be translated into votes. Are you that confident?
Yes, exactly. So
on what basis you say so?
Yes. You see, I was in fact forced to contest as independent because I was taking a lot of issues in the village, be it the western bypass, the pollution of the fields, and a lot of other things. So behind me there are some notable people from Navili, and they told me, they are behind my back, they are not coming out directly, but these are the ones who are going to work for me. I'm very sure of that, and they are doing it. And I feel that if you see the mathematics and the so-called split in votes, I think it's going to be in my favor.
Yeah, there will be lot of split of votes.
Yes.
There is no doubt about it.
Yes.
And basically Navilim has been always siding with one party or two, or what is it?
Navili has been a Congress bastion. You know how Luisin Falero was there, and in the whole sort of the system collapsed when he suddenly exited from Congress. Okay, then suddenly a lot of other alignments took place, and I was a congressman, no doubt. Okay, but recently what has happened in Congress is really very bad. It's not acceptable at all. You cannot just take the people's vote and then shift your allegiance to some other party. That was very bad, and I think people are very upset about this.
Earlier also you had another independent candidate also who came winner in Navilim.
Abertan Furtado.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was backed by the BJP.
Okay.
Parikar had said that he is not going to field a candidate of BJP. So definitely after elections he had to side the BJP.
Yeah, and now he's also contesting.
Yes, he is contesting.
What do you think are the chances of the parties as such now? You said that the voters basically belong to the Congress earlier.
Yes. But what happens now is that Congress itself, Luisin Falero is with TMC, and those votes, Congress, so-called Congress votes, were very much with Luisin Falero. So there is a split there also. Then Abertano will have his vote share. But basically I feel that being once a candidate, it's very difficult for the person to come a second time, because last time also he lost. In 2012 he won, but 17 he lost. Okay. So the Congress vote is split, and the split is not just in Congress. Even the BJP is going to have a split, because there have been several aspirants in BJP. There are about 5 I know. That then the others who did not get a ticket definitely are not going to be very much with the BJP.
Yeah, what we have seen now of late, that people join one party in the morning, then they change maybe in the afternoon or evening, and you wake up in the next morning, still something very different. So they say they are jumping worse than the frogs.
You see, this is a problem with our system which is in place right now. It is allowed. It is allowed. They are not doing anything legally wrong, but morally very much wrong. Okay, because they are, betraying the voter.
Yeah, like,
and the voter has to wait for another 5 years to teach him a lesson.
Yeah, like the last 10 fellows who jumped from one party, they were elected on one party, but then they joined. I'm sure they did not even ask a single voter.
No, that is always the case. You see, and the first thing they tell is that they have consulted the voters. That is, and I don't think people now will buy that thing.
Do you think people have now realized what type of candidates we have elected in the past?
People have become very much vigilant now. In fact, I was even told that places where I didn't know, they already knew what I was. And people are doing their homework instead of just going and voting blindly, looking at a lot of people going from door to door. Okay, this one has support, that one has support. No, people are going to do their homework this time. That's what I feel.
They say that there are a lot of silent workers now.
Yes.
And you'll never know until the day of the election.
Definitely.
You have been meeting a lot of people now.
Yes.
What has been their reaction by and large?
The first reaction is that they say that you took a very good step. We need people like you. Next, what happens is up to them. Okay, and even I was glad that they said this. See, they say you are qualified, you have been fighting for a lot of things. So it's good that you came into the fray.
But is the electorate well educated on the number of parties which are there, number of candidates and their programs?
Maybe not, but at least they know how dirty they played. So they are not going to be given another chance again. Because people, we know that Navili is an education hub, but a lot of people are there in Navili who may not be at that level of intellectual level to find out the real colors of any party. So that may be a problem. Education is always a problem, because there is somebody or the other to entice these voters with money or whatever. So that may play a role.
Do you think money will play some role in this coming elections?
It always does. It always does. Not only money. Now if you see, all the powerful MLAs, ministers, whoever, have been giving jobs. What is the GPCC doing? Why is the GPCC there now? Earlier years, they used to give the jobs silently. But now they are openly declaring in front of media that I have given so many jobs, I have provided so many jobs. I can't understand. You are giving jobs to your people, depriving the meritorious ones. That is one thing. But then you are enslaving that entire family. You give one job in your family and then that family is forever yours. That is enslavement. And what is the future of those people who have studied, who really merited that job? So this is a big problem.
So the system is not in place.
Yes, system is not in place. Somebody, in fact, even the High Court should take cognizance of this. How are
moto,
jobs
so moto they
so
should.
moto? How is the politicians distributing jobs?
But this is happening and now it is rampant.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, if this is going to be the trend in the future, what steps would you take if you are elected?
Definitely, there are remedies. I have been a person who just not point that this is wrong, this is wrong. I always come out with solutions. I have done that wherever I have taken up issues where there is a solution. There are legal remedies, and as far as in that system itself, there is a remedy. Somebody should challenge it openly. Somebody should ask for RTI and all that thing. But now today RTI is also not very effective. The tool is now misused. The people who are giving information themselves want to suppress information. In fact, there is a problem with giving information. They say information not available. You see that there is a provision when information is not available, file is lost, that initial inquiry should be made by the custodian of records, like how you have the information officer. That person should initiate an inquiry, and then if file is not found, he must lodge an FIR. This is the procedure that is not followed. So
not many people know about it.
Yes, exactly.
So you'll have to educate people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even I have seen that for an admission in the college or even higher secondary in a specific stream, always these politicians have a pull.
Yes. That is what they want to meddle into everything with the sole intention of not helping anybody for quid pro quo, that they are going to vote for them. That is the whole sole.
So people are also equally responsible.
Exactly.
It needs two to clap.
Exactly. Instead of coming to the college office or whatever and following proper procedure, they first step into the office of the minister.
Yes, it happens in Goa. Even for a challan, for a traffic violation, it's always a call to some MLA, and the police also do listen to them.
Yeah.
That's why the law and order situation is horrible.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Now, what are the major problems that you have identified in Navelim as such?
You see, I am presently in the High Court, have filed a PIL regarding the pollution of our ancestral fields. For 25 years, the fields cannot be cultivated because of all the sewage which is let into the fields. It's a huge field. Okay, they say it was some 3,000 years ago. It was designed and modeled by a tribe from southern Iraq called the Sumerians. Okay, and such fields are very few in Goa. So the entire that ecosystem around the fields is completely destroyed, and nobody seems to be bothered. And so now on 8th of February, the Margao municipality is going to file their reply in the matter. The second case is about an underpass which was built for the western bypass. And though there is a technical sanction that all such underpasses will have a ground clearance of 6 meters, this one is built just having a height of 3.5. So when I went to the court, they gave an affidavit that they are going to dig into the ground 1.9 meters. Okay, and the court accepted it. And I stepped in and I said, no, it cannot be done. There are sewage chambers there, JICA chambers are there underneath. And now they have realized, though they have slightly lowered the road, one chamber is come up already. And just a few days back, an accident has already happened there. So what happens is the court has to be, somebody should bring it to the notice of the court that such things, such affidavits which are filed are misleading the court. So I have done it, and that matter is also in the court now.
So you are pursuing it?
Yes, I am pursuing
it. And are you sure that it will go for a logical conclusion?
Yes, but there could be a thing like the court may say, no, this thing is already over. But there is a remedy for it. Now today technology has reached such a thing that they can haul the bridge up, the slabs up, the piers, and they can put rings on it, and that is.
But your major concern is about the agricultural land, which is cannot be used at all.
You see, not only in Naveli, all over Goa, it is such painful thing, to see fields lying fallow, because it cannot be cultivated. Agriculture is no longer a viable thing to do. Okay, and once upon a time during those years, Portuguese years, Goa was an exporter of rice.
Yes. agriculture did flourish at one time.
Exactly.
But unfortunately now, lack of vision has destroyed most of the agricultural fields. And the worst today, what we hear and we see, is land being used for concretization.
You see, earlier days, when we used to see vegetation, they used to clear the vegetation and ing shetroya mudale. Even on the hills and all that, they used to make those steps and they used to आत की जाता शेत रोयल सोयल जाल्यार they say हें पुरोया आनी बिल्डिंग काडया.
हय कित्याक ते कितें म्हणटाय वालोर म्हणटाय ते आयज शेताचो शेत रोयल्यार वालोर म्हणटाय ते सारको कमी आनी तेंच शेत तरी पुरोयन इंकिलें आनी बिल्डींग घाल्यो ते म्हणटाय जायते पयशे मेळटाय म्हण. This is what is.
But there is a this year you see in our village now. आमगेल्या गांवच्या पुतांक रावपा थिंगा सुवात ना. सो लेट अस से एक तुगे प्लॉट आहा सायडीन समज तूं कितें आहा जाल्यार तेका थिंग तो काडटो जाल्यार दोज स्मॉल कन्वर्शन्स शूड बी अलाउड बट नॉट लार्ज स्केल कन्वर्शन्स ऑफ
कित्याक लार्ज स्केल कन्वर्शन्स पळयल्याय गोंयकारांनी उरनाय कित्याक गोंयकारांक हितू पयशे नाय. आतां सद्याक दिल्ली सावन सगळे येताय आख्खें तुगेलें पड कितें आहा त्या भायर आनी सायडीकूय आल्यार थंय घेताय आनी हो गव्हर्मेंट तांकां फेसिलिटी दिता सगळें घेवपाक.
एक्झॅक्टली.
So is there no way to stop all this?
There is a way. There are mechanisms. But what these people are doing is, for the greed of money, they are ready to do anything. You know, they have these committees in the what is it called that those authorities, planning authorities and all. They are the ones who are doing all this. They should be checked.
But what would you do if you are elected? Would you put a moratorium on this purchase
Definitely,
of the land and agriculture?
As I said, why should we make provisions for housing from people who are coming from outside the state when our own sons of the soil are not getting? If he's a son of the soil, let us say, you know, Salsette is already crowded, like Benauli, Navili, Chinchini and all. And people now from our villages are going somewhere else because land is not available here. So for these sons of the soil, a little bit of adjustment could be made for conversion of a small field, a family field or whatever it is, only that much. But large scale housing and all should be completely stopped.
Yeah, but then you will not make money. The MLA will not mint any money.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Why should he? Is he come to mint money?
Actually, the work is more on legislation.
Exactly.
But here now everybody is interested, what can I get? How much can I get? And today is not small money, it's too big a money. And you talked to say that you are in the movement for special status for Goa 2012 and 13.
Yes.
This special status, if at all had to be given, it should have been given at the time of the opinion poll when it was held. Because at that time it was something new. And like in the Northeast now you cannot get an employment, you cannot get a job there, you cannot buy a land there. But do you think, what is the status now, before we discuss further on special status, that you were part of the movement?
Yes. If you see, since the so-called annexation of Goa in 1961, you know, our leaders during those years should have seen that everybody's eyes are on Goa, that one day everybody will want to come and settle in Goa. So some provision should have been made, some concession should have been given when the constitution was imposed on us, the citizenship was imposed on us, that particular the fundamental right of freedom of movement should have been a little bit, you know, moderated.
Yeah, it could have been, yes. And it would have been easier.
Yes.
तेदो झुपको जावपा शकताले पण आतां आस पळय दिल्या हे सगळे लँड शार्क्स पळय आहाय. I don't think so that there is even a small possibility of Goa getting special status.
Yes, and they have already rejected. You see, the Indian Parliament, when a cabinet decision was made by Bandorkar saying that we will merge Goa to Maharashtra, the Parliament immediately enacted the Goa Opinion Poll Act, and under that act they had the opinion poll because such an exercise was not there in the constitution. So they enacted an act. Now my question is, when Parikar in the House, all 40 MLAs passed a unanimous resolution to grant special status to Goa, why couldn't the Parliament also enact another act?
Do you think that Goa has been ruled by the local parties, though they are in charge? Because now the thought process is Goa is being ruled by the people from New Delhi.
Exactly. As you was talking about the Delhi builders and all, Now see, AAP party is come. I will just, this will be a revelation for you. The AAP leaders came and met me long back and they said, Anthony, join AAP. You are a good person, we know. But I asked them one thing. See, Anthony Alvares is not very keen to become an MLA if I cannot fight for my people. I told him, you tell me what is Kejriwal's agenda for Goa. The poor fellow cannot even handle that pollution problem of his till today. So they had no answers. No, you join us and then we will see. I said, no, I have to be very clear about what I have to fight for. Otherwise, I said, I'm not interested in joining up. So this is what happened. The others are ruling us and we are just, it happened centuries ago. To drive out the Muslim rulers, instead of calling our own Indian people, we called the Portuguese.
And they came.
They came.
And they won, and then they said, you stay here.
Yes, exactly.
So you think something like that now is going to happen also in Goa?
Exactly. People don't seem to be having our own indigenous Goans don't seem to be having faith in their own selves. If we can rule, there was that UGDP party and all that. This local parties, it was a good thing that a local party.
Yeah, but now actually they say that Goa lacks a very strong, dynamic, visionary regional party.
Yes, it is so. It is so. The regional party is there, but the regional party should be well informed. They should know about what legislations have taken earlier. Now you see, Goans are being given a carrot that all jobs will be given to them for only Goans. Okay, these people don't even know that my own MLA, Luisin Falero, had passed a bill in the Goa Assembly many years back, assuring that 80% jobs will be given to Goans. Forget about in the industries, not government. But even that bill, though it was passed in the House, the governor refused to sign it. Do these people who are offering the same carrot now, do they know that this thing has already happened? And people are following them.
People are not well informed, let me tell you.
Exactly. So when you have a regional party, just for the sake of having a regional party, there should be good thinkers, people who have got a lot of information, and the policies should be very clear to the people instead of just dangling carrots in front.
So if you are elected, will you remind them that about the job reservation, at least in the industrial states?
Exactly. See, what happens is that those things can be done on our land rights. Land is in the constitution, land is a subject of the state. So when we give land for industries, naturally we have got a demand to make that you reserve the jobs for us. But
even these concessions or say special status, if it cannot be granted, I mean the wholesale, in pieces, can it be implemented or not?
Exactly. There are several other optional legislations which can be enacted, okay, and which will amount to protection of Goan interests. But there's no political will. Our MLAs are too busy with other things of looting and stealing.
And with this attitude, they say that Goa is already sold, and I don't know what is left of Goa.
You see the standard of MLAs, legislators that are there in the assembly. Do you think they are capable of such thoughts, doing something? Well, they are not. Earlier, gone are those days when our legislators were really good. The quality of debates in the assembly was really good. Now it is, it's all rubbish.
Because I have not seen one debate on the use of the land.
Exactly.
So, and they say that everybody is involved in this problem of selling Goan land.
Exactly. Everybody is given a piece of the cake. And so that's why the mouths are shut. See, we send a legislator in the assembly, he remains quiet for 5 years, doesn't even speak. Because, he is getting his interests satisfied. This is the problem.
Is there any thing that you all are thinking about your movement for special status, or it is frozen?
You see, Goa was not in the Constituent Assembly when the Constitution was made. And rest of the states, they were there. Means they agreed to that fundamental right of freedom of movement. Now, if you see, Bombay people are also very much, Shiv Sena and all, they don't want outsiders to come. But then they have the rest of Maharashtra only for the Maharashtrians. But that is not the case for Goa. So, definitely Goans should be given special status. Sonia Gandhi came and she announced that Goans must get special status. Modi came and he announced. Everybody knows what Goans want. but they don't want to give it. And every election they come and dangle the same carrot of Goa will get special status. So we know, but somebody at in the parliament should do it, help us.
Like, for example, they say that we are going to become the coal hub, and Goa is not using that coal. That coal is being used somewhere else. But Goa has been destroyed and misused because it is the big industrialists who are involved in it.
Exactly. Why they are involved is basically coal is now past. It is gone. The rest of the countries are not using coal. So it has become cheap. It's become very cheap. And this big people of our country, they know that they can get it cheap and then use Goa for the
Yeah, not only coal, you have the double tracking issue where houses of our locals are being destroyed.
You see, when Goa was taken by Portuguese, they did not have the sanction of the king to capture. But when they came here, one thing they saw was the port, the thing what is there. And the same thing now, Marmagua port is very crucial for this thing, and that is why their coal is being carried through Goa.
And it must have been very cheap for them.
Exactly.
Somebody is minting money at the cost of the health of Goans.
Exactly. They logistically it is very viable for them. So they don't care whether it is Goa or wherever it is.
Coming back to the special status now, where are you all?
The movement has been dormant for quite a while. We ourselves don't know if the country at the time of the so-called liberation, we were promised that Goans will choose their future. But are we given that right? Nehru then soon expired in 1964. But he did make a mention. There was even a mention of giving a referendum for Goans to choose their political future. And that is what is envisaged in the UN General Assembly. In fact, that was told even on the night of December 18, 1961, when an emergency meeting took place in New York. They said that Goa will be getting the right that all other decolonized territories would get, and that is their self-determination, which was never given for us.
They tried to justify to say that opinion poll was something on those lines.
At this stage, I should not be saying this, but the truth behind this is, you see, the option that was laid before us was you join Maharashtra or you remain a union territory. That means you have a right not to be separate. You join India either way. So that was the...
That was not there at all. That was not there at all.
Exactly. Or if you see all other decolonized territories got their right for self.
Yeah, they had like Sao Tome, it was Indonesia had taken over, but then later on United Nations intervened and they gave them that ocean. Because what is now clamoring is that Goa has lost its own identity, its own culture.
Exactly.
How far do you agree or disagree on that?
Very much. We ourselves know what was the Goa of yesteryears years. And if we tell this to the new generation, they will not believe it. Like Advocate Siola said that in your interview, okay, that she is now in this sort of a thing. She doesn't know about golden Goa that was there in the past.
Yeah, it was golden. Yeah. No longer so.
It's no longer so.
Will you try to take any steps to bring back its lost glory?
Definitely, I would have loved to, but there should be will from all sides, that the people themselves should want, and also the politicians, but sadly it's not.
Let us say luck is in your favor, everything is in your favor, you are elected as an independent MLA. Which party will you join?
As an independent candidate, after winning, I don't need to join any party, but there is an option for joining the government. And definitely, if you join the government, then you get the benefits of the so-called development. So long is not your own development. Development means of the constituency. So there is, and it is rightful to join any party. But before taking that step, at the beginning, I told you at the outset that there are people behind me who have propped me up to represent Navili. I will definitely take a call only after consulting them.
And if they tell you don't join the ruling dispensation?
Somewhere there has to be a consensus, and depending on that, Some may not like, some may not, this is
You
democracy.
can't please everyone.
Exactly. But one thing is assured, that my people of Naveli will not be disappointed. They will have a person who will go and every day open his mouth in the assembly.
What's your final message to the electorate from Naveli?
They should not think that so many candidates are sitting and the votes will be split. In fact, their mind should be very clear that there is a candidate, they have an option now, a good candidate who will represent them, who is sincere to work for the constituency, and they should place their trust in me.
Thank you so much, our great teacher, Antonio Alvares. We wish you all the best, and we'll have to wait till 10th of March. But before that, you have got a lot of work to see that people press the right blue button on 14th of February.
Thank you so much for having me. The only time I used to hear your voice was at the Nehru Stadium PA. Okay, it's such a pleasure to meet you in person.
It's God's destiny we had to meet today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.